Yo, 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 what's going on? What's going on, Atlanta Falcon fans, man? Sorry about the wait, man. Tell y'all, man, things come up at a bad time. And look, some things just happen, man. But we're gonna try to slide through right quick and talk about the Matt Ryan press conference like we was gonna do, man, earlier.
Mm.
Cause look, it was some talking points in that press conference that I absolutely loved, and a lot of them is what me and Chris figured out already. Like I told y'all, if y'all follow us on Twitter, we figured out the puzzle, man. And when you figure out the puzzle, things just fall in place. But if y'all been following the John Harbaugh thing, man, he interviewed with the Giants today, and he may be here next.
Yeah,
And he did not get a deal done with the Giants. So if y'all want John Harbaugh, y'all still got a chance. But Chris, you know what to do, man.
hey, what's going on, everybody? Y'all know what time it is. Pop up style, had to push it back just a little bit, man. Just been doing so much other work and everything behind the scenes, but we was gonna come back at you. So here we are, man,
Facts.
about to talk about Matt Ryan, president of football. And hey, man, I got a question though. I've been seeing
Run
so
it.
much. I've been seeing so much. Like, why is everybody so upset with Arthur Blank? Like, I guess they were saying like he was talking too much in the press conference and everything like that. I've been seeing people saying that.
I mean, he's the owner, man. He get to say whatever he want when he want. He ain't got to ask nobody. He ain't got to ask permission to speak. And basically, I didn't have no problem with it because the reporters, they were asking no dumb question. They were asking the question, same question over and over. So he was just clarifying as to what was said, and they would just, you know how they try to bait you into saying something that you don't want to say.
Yeah,
So he
yeah,
just kept clarifying, what was trying to be said, and they were trying to twist and turn everything. So I get it. So ain't no need to be mad at Arthur. Be mad at the reporters for asking them dumb questions. They were asking the questions as clear as they could. So and some of the questions were running together. So they answered some of the questions two and three times. So I
yeah,
mean, let's be real, man. You can only do so much, man. I ain't have no
everybody
problem with it. Go ahead.
questions. I just say everybody got the similar questions. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but
yeah, I ain't have a problem with it either. Like you said, he's the owner. I mean, he's going to speak. I mean, you knew it just sitting up there, he was going to speak. I mean, even Greg Beatles got asked a question. So at the end of the day, man, I
yeah,
just
they
felt
don't.
people just trying to
Yeah,
find to be upset about.
facts. And that's how you know how it is. Yeah, I know if I'm just doing this job here and giving y'all news updates. But what I'm gonna do, man? I picked out certain talking points of the video,
Mm-hmm.
and look, I mean, some great points was made during the video. This one I think says why he's the right person for the job, man. He gives y'all the reason why he's the right person for the job. For y'all that were questioning it, man. Um, but look, Ski, chill out, man.
I'm like, sheesh. I'm like, we all
We ain't
Falcon.
even started the story. You already bullshitting.
We all Falcon fans here.
Yeah, I mean, we
Man,
got to do what we got to do, man. We got to support whoever's on the logo. But let's get into it right quick. He gonna give y'all right quick. You know why he feel like he the man for the job. I hope I can.
This organization do everything it can to be champions and to win championships. And, there is a sense of unfinished business of, we were close at times and we had some success here and there. But I truly believe we're going to get there and have full faith in the people that we have in this building and the folks that are going to be coming into this building are going to help us get there. To the former players, my former teammates, so many of which have reached out in the last couple of days. I love you guys. I appreciate how excited you guys are. Can't wait to get all of you guys back in the building to bring that energy of former players, the former connection. We've got one here right now, Dave Archer. That kind of stuff means a lot to a building. I know that from sitting in those seats as players, when you see former guys come back and the respect that the guys in our locker room have for that. going to be an important part of my time here because you guys have paved the way for the guys that are coming in and a part of it right now. And look forward to that being a strong part of who we are as an organization. And then, finally to my family who's sitting right here, I got, which Arthur mentioned, Marshall, Johnny, Cal, and Sarah, who are all hanging out in the front row. My twins are 7, and
man, time flies.
They claim to remember me being on the field, already. But I think it's more just on their iPhone or on my iPhone, looking at YouTube or something like that. That has kind of, made the memories. But for these guys to grow up around this building with the special people that are in this building and to be a part of it is really exciting for me. Cal, the fact that we have Gatorades here and you can slug them, that's going to be, really fun. But to my wife, Sarah, I've said this, you guys have heard me talk about Sarah before, but I would not have been the player I was here if not for the support of her. And I certainly, wouldn't have been able to do what I've done the last couple of years with CBS and the traveling and all of that if I didn't have incredible support at home and an incredible mother and wife. And she's the reason, she's the reason why I can do this. It's going to require a full commitment and all of my effort, attention, and just all of it, all of everything that I have. And she's the only person I could do this with. And I love you and appreciate that. So couldn't be more excited. Happy to answer questions as we open.
Well, that was a key part of the whole thing. Look, support system is everything. He also talked about something that me and Chris been talking about on the show for a while, man. And that's, having support of former players, try to include former players in more daily roles. And honestly, man, I think he's going to end up hiring a lot of former Falcon players to be coaches like we talked about. You remember I've been saying that they don't try to include the older players in nothing. I even took it as, I even had former players after the Dirty Bird era of the 90s that, I even had a person on that team tell me he feel like they don't get the proper respect and a lot more of them should be in the ring of honor, and I agree because I feel like Terrence Matthews should be there. I feel like Chuck Smith should be there. I feel like John Abraham definitely should be there. Patrick Kearney. I can keep going on and on because you talk about record breaker. Michael Turner's another one. Julio Jones. And really, a lot of those players should have been in before Matt Ryan. There's no disrespect to him because he's the best Falcon of all time. But what about the Falcon that paved the way for him? So, I get where he's going, why he deserved the job and getting former players involved. It's just the right thing to do. But him getting a job, what do y'all think in the chat? And Chris, what you think?
Hey man,
he deserved the job.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I know they did the whole, going through different candidates and everything, but I feel like it always was Matt Ryan's job to lose. I feel like he was the front runner, not just because of the personal relationship with Arthur, but also just the fact that he knows the team, he knows the franchise. It's one of those things to where, like, when you look at all the candidates, who will love the Atlanta Falcons, who will put the most dedication into the Atlanta Falcons, and out of all candidates, how could you think and choose anybody outside of Matt Ryan? So I totally, agree with the whole decision of, allowing him to come in. And like, we always talk about, like, no one really cares about the franchise. Like, people will come in here from different organizations and different walks of life and whatnot, and they come in, but they don't necessarily love the franchise like we love the franchise, like, us fans do. But now you actually, for the first time, I believe, really have somebody that for a fact loves the logo just as much, if not more, than we do. So only thing now is we've heard the talks about why he deserves it and everything. Now it's just time to just put the good action with it. And I believe if Matt Ryan does that, just like Arthur Blank did say when he did speak, he was talking about, hey, maybe Matt can be here for the next 10 years or beyond. We'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm trying to find the next talking point.
Mm-hmm.
And this talking point is how they evaluate the coaches. And we've been talking about that as well. Because as I told y'all, my personal feelings, I feel like it's still gonna be Arthur Blank who get hired. I think he's gonna still be like a Richmond K type process. They're gonna all sit down with the coaches and the GMs. And I've been wondering myself, and they answered it in this video as well, as to how can you hire a coach before a GM? And they've said that they're going to try to hire both of them on the same plan level at the same time. Just make sure they're working together. And I'm sure all the candidates that they talks to Matt Ryan, and gives him an idea, what they're trying to do, the process they're trying to go through. And I get that part. But just take a quick listen to this. And y'all will get an idea of what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mentioned that you got this new position and then you were in interviews. I'm curious, how will you evaluate a head coach differently than maybe some other front office execs around the league?
Well, I can't speak for how other people do it, or what their process is or is not. I know there are certain things from my perspective as a player that you look for, character, being one of those. I think emotional stability. It's hard. It's a really difficult job to do, and there's lots of highs and lows. And some of the best guys that I was around in those positions were very stable emotionally, and that's certainly one thing I'll be for. And I think there's got to be a level of presence that you have to have, as a coach, and the ability to command respect of your players. It doesn't mean, you've got to be the most vocal or the best interview or the best in a press conference. It just means you've got to be able to connect with the players that you have. And so, I view it from the lens of what I always wanted and what I needed from coaches and some of the best that I was around. And I think you take all of those, I see Buck sitting here. He knows it, right? Like, you learn a little bit from each of the coaches that you're around at different stops, and you pull some of those things and you say, oh man, I'm looking for somebody that has some of those qualities and some of these qualities and some of those qualities.
Yeah,
I think that informs, my ability to listen and to evaluate different coaches that we have the opportunity to talk to.
That's what I'm talking about. And if you think about what he's pretty much saying, it's time from Atlanta, from Mike Smith to Dan Quinn to Arthur Smith to who was his coach in Indianapolis? Frank Wright? Yeah, Frank Wright. And you look at these, these coaches, and then he looks at, what he's learned behind the scenes, talking to a Bill Cowher. He talked about that in the press conference. So when you think about, what he's been doing the last 3 years, he basically been training for the job, and it's no way around it. But how he'll evaluate coaches is the right way, and the way he said, I think is absolutely correct. You look at different qualities that you like and you think could help a team win, because think about it. The quality that Mike Smith had, that they had in Mike Smith, helped them reach the NFC Championship game. Quality they had in Dan Quinn and what he did a certain way helped them reach the Super Bowl. So he's going to take quality from a lot of coaches. Bill Cowher, who's a Super Bowl winning coach. And then you got to think the relationships he's built. He's going to talk to people. And he's going to try to get the job right as much as he can. So I think the way they're going to evaluate the coach, I absolutely love it. What you got?
Yeah, man, the way I think that, that's going to be the right approach. I think, right approach. I think right now they're taking, the right approach. It does make you wonder what the Falcons are doing, because sometimes you think the Falcons are zigging when they're zagging, especially in the past few years, really. But ultimately, I'm just like, for me, I just want Matt to be able to find it within himself to be like, okay, like, go with his feelings and, to be able to make that decision to be like, okay, this is the head coach, this is the GM. It's interesting to me that even throughout this whole process, that the GM hasn't been hired, and then they talk about it in the press conference about how trying to hire them at the same time. Rise up, but trying to hire
Maggie, what's good? Go ahead.
Yeah, trying to hire them at the same time. So I still feel like that does leave the door open for like a John Harbaugh, even though I still feel like Clint Kubiak is kind of like the front runner with everything that I explained before with, Jeff Ulbrich and experience and etc. But you think about it, even with Harbaugh, he does want to have like his own GM. And if he makes it to Atlanta and they have a conversation, I wonder if that's going to come up and if that's going to be an emphasis, and could that possibly even sway the Falcons, be like, okay, so what GM are you thinking about, type thing, and then next thing you know, you have your coach and your GM right there. So it's just another thing I just think about as well throughout this whole process. I mean, it could possibly never even happen that way, but the way that they're just taking their time and evaluating different talent, might as well say, at the coaching position, and they still have interviews that they've requested that they have unable to get a hold of, like guys like Robert Saleh, but they're still interviewing other guys because we just had Antonio Pierce. You know what I'm saying? Antonio Pierce, somebody, somebody but also worked with Matt Ryan at CBS. So connections, knowing different people. I don't think Antonio Pierce is going to be the coach, but still, he's still going to get an interview. So
right,
it's just that no stone unturned. That's what it feels like with Matt.
It's a process. It's a process too, and I think they may, depending on what falls in their lap, they may not even get to go through all the coaches that they want to interview, because the one that becomes available first that they want pretty much going to be the one they get. And just like Jim Harbaugh, if he comes here and they like what he says, and boom, process over, no GM, you make the move, because you got to think about it too. As me and Chris told y'all, Jim Harbaugh has said, which I think to me is the point that excludes everything, is he wants to bring in a GM that he wants to work with. And the Falcons have an organizational structure that the way they want to do things. So that may be a deal breaker for some. But look, I mean, it happens.
Yeah, that's for sure. For sure, because I mean, they can have their interview and both parties just honestly not be on the same page, and they can be just like, well, all right, well, thank you for your time, and just move on, because Falcons at the end of the day still have the leverage. They still they have so many different options that they can still choose from, who are still good coaches outside of John Harbaugh. But it's just as far as like what you're trying to build, lead into the future, you want to have somebody that can help bring some structure in here. But I also want to know what's the coach long-term plan. Like, for example, John Harbaugh, how much longer are you planning on coaching? You are 63. That's not old, but I'm just saying, because we have coaches who are older than that. But all I'm saying
Pete Carroll's 73.
That's what I'm saying. But like, will you, like, let's say we have success in Atlanta, will you be willing to still continue with the success and even with some down years? You know what I'm saying? In between that, like, my point is, if you hire John Harbaugh at 63, will he still be here at 73? As far as
that's a damn good question.
Because that's ultimately, I believe, what the Falcons are looking for, somebody that's going to be here for the long haul, especially from what we've been going through the last 8 seasons, not missing the playoffs multiple seasons. And it's just, again, that's just got to stop. So it's so important to get these recent hires. The Matt Ryan thing, okay, boom, you got that out the way. But this GM and this head coach is going to be so important, because then they'll have to work together, because they got to figure out what's going to be the quarterback situation. Are you keeping Kirk Cousins? Are you not keeping Kirk Cousins?
That's one of the bigger questions. Ooh, my God.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, what are you going to do for quarterback? Who are you going to go get as a bridge quarterback? There's a lot of things that you still have to talk about. Now, it's still early. It's still January, but I'm telling you, that time and that calendar move real fast. So, at the end of the day, I just feel like, the process, we're going to have to continue just to wait it out. They're going through different candidates. I still think they have their favorites, and even the guy that they really want to hire already, but we'll see which way did they go, considering the timeline and everything.
Yeah, that's true. But would they be forced to keep Kirk Cousins? Because
I don't think
if you're
so.
looking at veteran quarterbacks, I mean, the only one that we may, get are the ones that may be cut and we get them for a vet minimum. But there are backups around, that can come in. And we talked about John Harbaugh as one of the candidates. One of his quarterbacks in Baltimore, Tyler Huntley, could be on the list. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, I think he is. I think his contract may be about up too. So if
Yeah,
Baltimore does,
he actually got traded and came back to Baltimore.
right?
He played somewhere else year before last.
Was it Cleveland?
So I think it was. I think it was.
So they have that revolving door over there, man. I think I had slipped up and ended up as a quarterback for a game. Don't know how, but all I know
I
is
didn't even tell that lie. I wouldn't be nothing but a water boy.
yeah, I was like, shoot. Oh, don't worry, we still lost the game. I mean, I'm just saying.
And speaking of head coaches, he gonna give y'all a quick listen as to how they gonna come up with that, and it's gonna be interesting. It's pretty much what me and Chris has said already. Sometimes you just have to let things be what they're gonna be and let them run the way they want to run it. Right. But this is what they said about hiring the head coach.
Strong working relationship together.
Mark? Matt, can you sort of, and Arthur as well, talk through the sort of ranking structure and decision-making process as you go through this? I mean, is this a case where you'll have the final say on GM and coach and draft and things of that nature? What's the sort of expanse of your authority, so to speak?
Yeah, I think Arthur has been really clear to me with what that structure is going to look like. And, ultimately Arthur's football team is his football team, but I understand the task that has been laid at my hands. That is to lead this process along with, the guys that and women that are along for that. But ultimately, we're going to come together. We're going to work collaboratively, and we'll make a recommendation to Mr. Blank of what we think. But I'm comfortable with that.
I think one of the things that's important to stress, which should be important for all the coach candidates and GM candidates, is that, and Matt made it clear to me, I mean, he has no desire to do their job. I mean, the coach will pick the coaches, position coaches, coordinators, et cetera. GMs will, style out their whole organization, helping to draft and free agency, et cetera. So, I mean, Matt will be involved in that, but Matt did not sign up to do their job. He signed up to get the best people for them to do their job.
Man Stern,
with his support, his wisdom, and his guidance.
Hit his hand on
based on his experience. And that's what I'm looking for.
Mark Ramondi, then Terrence.
I guess for any.
Yeah, and it's basically exactly what he's saying, man. He got hired to do one job, and that just support the GM and the head coach. Get him input as to what he wanted, how he wants things structured. And he's over the GM, so if they mess up, guess what? He gonna get in trouble. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know what happened with Rich McKay and why that went on so long, but you talk about draft picks in the war room at the draft board. You talk about the process of bringing in free agents, working with the GM, getting the cap number under control as to how much people gonna cost. Just all simple things that goes along with the front office and doing the GM job and the head coaching job with the roster, and things of that nature. So I think, he has an idea of what he want to do. And as I said earlier, when he's been, talking to folks, you got to remember, Ryan Poles is his best friend, Chicago Bears GM. So he's giving him the ins and the outs on how to be a GM. And I'm going to tell y'all, and I'm going to be honest, I think Ryan Poles was the right hire for the Chicago Bears. Because when have you seen Chicago outside of defense draft aggressively for a quarterback? Outside of Mitchell Trubisky, who was terrible. You got to remember when they made it to the Super Bowl last time, Rex Grossman was their quarterback.
Yep.
So
Rusty Rex.
Hey, we got you, Furball. Hold on for a second. We just trying to make a point. We see you, man. We see you. Go ahead.
No, it's just like you were saying, Rex Grossman. I was like, yeah, man, Rusty Rex. But yeah, Ryan Poles, he was definitely worked out for Chicago. And that's another reason why, you know, Ian is kind of high on the list, because it's like, okay, well, you're the assistant. So we figure you don't rub the elbows and learn something from this guy, and could possibly be able to come in the GM role and do it yourself. Right. But yeah, man, I think, you know, ultimately, yeah, Matt has a plan, because again, he's been talking to former players, been talking to guys who, you know, have been doing it, has done it, and everything, just, you know, picking the brains from, and that's what you're supposed to do. So I like how Matt Ryan is like carrying himself about with the whole situation, seeking out that knowledge, because he knows he's coming into a very important role. And really, honestly, he's got to knock it out of the park. You know, of course he's going to be given grace, but at the end of the day, the job is to succeed as much as you possibly can. And I think that's what Matt is trying to set himself up and set the Atlanta Falcons up for. Again, I say it again, you know, is how could you not have a guy like this who, you know, cares about your franchise more than any other candidate that you had for discussion for the position. So again, I'm all for it. And I just want to slowly just wait and see what the process is, you know, step by step, and see, you know, how Matt Ryan is able to navigate everything, including the GM and the head coach, because he's even said it himself. Even with the interview process, y'all, he was given templates and everything from Greg Beatles and others just in the front office space, just to help him out with that as well, just to conduct the interviews. Because again, he is coming in, you know, some kind of blind. So yeah, man.
Yeah.
Harbaugh, what's happening?
Yeah, Harbaugh, I wanted to know. He said he's sorry to come in late, but he don't trust Matt Ryan. Never did from the start. He's already interviewing bad head coaches, like from the Panthers, Raiders head coach before. He talking about Antonio Pierce, who Chris talked about. He said this makes no sense why we hire him. Harbaugh, I'm gonna be real with you, man. San Francisco hired John Lynch. Had absolutely not one day of experience. He's coming in. He went in blind with San Francisco. They taught him the structure of the organization, taught him how to do things behind the scenes, and he's flourished in San Francisco. Their starting quarterback was the last pick in the draft, and now he's a $50 million plus guy. They made a bold trade for Christian McCaffrey. They drafted, I think Fred Warner was a 4th or 5th round pick, and now he's the star of the team. So I think John Lynch did a pretty decent job. And he brought in Kyle Shanahan. So he's done a great job in San Francisco. And sometimes you just need to put the right person in the right place. But I feel like the reason why he has, you know, succeeded in San Francisco is because the structure that they have in their organization and what they had in place before he got there. They taught him the 49ers way. He adapted to it. And you got to remember, he was one of the most or the biggest turnarounds in NFL history with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 1995, when they brought in Warren Sapp and Derrick Brooks to anchor that defense. And Warwick Dunn the very next year. Warwick Dunn came out in 98, I think. So, but when you talk, no, that's right. Warwick Dunn was brought in around that time in 96. So when you think about what he went through in Tampa and learning from that experience and turning things around, he was able to do the same in San Francisco, because you got to think San Francisco is one of the most prestiged organizations in the league, even though they were trashed the first, 10, 13 years of their existence. When they got drafted Joe Montana and turned things around,
got it.
49ers, they turned everything around. So sometimes you just need, you know, the right piece in the right place at the right time. And I think getting Rich McKay out the way with that old way of thinking, getting somebody fresh like a Matt Ryan, like Josh Blanken, he talked about Josh as well, being part of the process. And as I told y'all, I thought it was a slow transition anyway, because I could just tell how things were just looking different as to how they did things. So we have a ways to go on this, man. And I just think we just have to wait and see. Because what they're saying, it has me sold.
I mean, that part though, that we have to wait and see. That's the whole point. Like, we have all these good intentions, but y'all know I'm a good intention, but you got to have that good action type of a guy as well. And it's just, at the end of the day, we're in a business to where we have to succeed. So just to, cater to Furball's point a little bit. Like, I understand like him being uneasy about the hire, first timer, don't have any real experience and everything, kind of got to like go out and seek knowledge from other guys who've done it before, so it's like, to be fair, I will say, that's a legit gripe, so we just have to.
I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. Cause I mean, look, a lot of people they're still angry about that Super Bowl loss. And some of us may never get over it because of, how it transpired.
It can't be about the Super Bowl loss though, isn't it? Like,
man, bro,
that
don't
have nothing to do with him being
Chris. No lie, bro. I've had a handful of people tell me in public, I don't think Matt Ryan was the right hire. He couldn't even lead us to a Super Bowl win. He couldn't even make changes during the game in the Super Bowl. I've heard this a handful of times already. And he's been in job, one day?
Right,
So,
but we all know that Super Bowl, he wasn't allowed to make any changes in the offense. Yes, he could have. Yes, he should have. But again, that
game plan in place.
That just he had a plan in place, and Matt Ryan is not one to kind of veer off the route of the plan. I mean, we knew that anyway. So you gotta know your quarterback at the time. You gotta know the personnel. So that's another reason why we talked about in the beginning of when all this had first transpired. Okay, what type of role is Matt Ryan going to have? What kind of authority will he have his own voice, or will he kind of be like a wind-up dog? So it's like that even is still remain to be seen. Like, we can be told anything. And just to be fair, not calling anybody a liar, but we're just being fair and thinking about it from both sides of the spectrum. It's just like we still, at the end of the day, we still do have to get the results, though. Most of us, I would say, about 65% of the fan base, from what I've seen, is encouraged that Matt Ryan is here. So at the end of the day, like, he has to satisfy the entire fan base, and you're not still going to satisfy everybody. You're going to make moves that people not going to agree with, etc. But ultimately, for me, as a fan, I'm just looking for the success. I need the success from you. I need the track record. I need, consecutive seasons, etc. Just from what you're able to do in your position, being the president of football, handling everything within the lines and everything on the grass. So,
yeah, exactly. Ghost Pepper, I agree 200%. Said at the end of the day, skin color, no matter job, should go to the most qualified person, period.
I agree.
Just that simple. I mean, some of y'all can go there, but there's no need to go there because, I mean, it's just a job at the end of the day. Yeah. And Nando, he agreed with you, man. He said can't leave no stones unturned. Matt Ryan is correct. Football in mind, keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, can't leave.
And we ain't got to call out no names, man. If y'all don't agree with Furball, just don't agree with him. And man, but be respectful in the chat. That's all we ask.
Yeah, man. Just at the end of the day, we still all rep the same brand, the Falcons, so everybody can have their own opinion. That's another reason why we encourage people to have their own opinions, because we're not, even if we disagree with it, we're not going to like bash you for having it, because you're welcome to your own opinion. If you don't believe in Matt Ryan, then guess what? You don't believe and trust Matt Ryan, and you are entitled to that. And guess what? We're all going to see whether you're right or wrong. In due
time. You stupid. Aztec said we already interviewed Kevin and Clint. We were doing in person with John this week. And matter of fact, he'll be in the building in the next couple of days because what's today? Wednesday. Could be in the building tomorrow or Friday because he's in New York right now. He just left New York actually, so he could be in the building within the next 24 to 48 hours. And he's going to do a live in person. The first one was virtual to get a feeling of where he was coming from, but now that you're going to get an in person, that's why I said earlier, depending on what happens in that interview, process could be stopped on the drop of a dime. And me and Chris could be jumping on the live in the next 24 to 48 hours, giving y'all our thoughts on our new head coach. Who knows? But sometimes, that's how it goes, man. But Player Stat said he got a question, but go ahead before I ask.
Oh no, I was just saying sometimes, man, that's all we gotta do. What you got though, Player Stats?
Go and read it. You got it.
Okay. My question is, does bringing Matt Ryan back more about public relations, or could it have a real on-field impact? To be honest with you, now this may sound kind of cop-outish, but for lack of a better term right now, but two things could be true. Two things could be true. It could be a both on type thing. Because the only thing about it, the real on-field impact is the thing that we all really have to wait on. More so than anything else. The public relations, you can make your determination about that, how you feel about that, right now if you want to. I mean, people are already doing it, so you can make your determination about that. But as far as that real on-field impact player stats, I ain't gonna lie to you. We gotta wait. We gotta wait and see. I feel like it's an advantage, kind of like with San Francisco, having a guy that played the game, saying, kind of like be up in the front office and kind of like know what it takes, looking for certain genes in players, looking for certain traits and everything that they can go off of. Like, okay, yeah, this is the type of trait, this is the type of gene, clutch gene for those, for that, for lack of a better term there. But yeah, man, we're still gonna have to wait for it, fam. I think, in my opinion. What you think, though, Smitty?
I agree, man, 100%. And you got to think, man, people who played the game, they just think totally different than people that haven't played the game. Sometimes you get GMs that haven't played the game, but they've learned the business standpoint of the game. They've learned the terminology of the game. Hell, they've learned to look at footage of the game to scout players, even though they said Matt probably won't be involved in that. And that's what I loved about Terry Fontenot. But sometimes, man, a football mind just knows things off of instinct. And their player instincts help them in a lot of situations because I'm trying to use somebody other than John Lynch that's been in the GM role that has succeeded as a GM. It's not many, and I give you one that he just got fired last year before last. Rand Carthon, former NFL player for the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, that's right.
He saw things in Derrick Henry, and he saw things in Marcus Mariota, and these guys to put a team together under Mike Vrabel. And look, it worked for a while until they broke up the front office, and then it went left. So, I mean, sometimes your football instincts and your player instincts is going to help you out more than anything because it's certain things that they know that us as podcasters, analysts, some of us analysts, because some of the analysts are journalists, that they know things that we don't know. Why you think they get the job before, a journalist at a certain company or at a just like Dave Archer, for instance. Dave Archer has been a reporter for the Falcon for God knows how long. But guess why he's been there so long? Because nobody can't take his job because he knows the ins out of football.
Yeah.
So that's right. So, I mean, it happens.
How did we forget about the first black GM in NFL history, though? Ozzie Newsome, another guy that used to play the game, and he went.
Absolutely. And I've said it.
Yeah,
I've said it.
Office,
One of the best GMs to ever be in the front office in the league, man. Because if you look at it, he's built that team from since it was incepted in 1996.
Right.
Because you're looking at drafting Ray Lewis. And they drafted another guy that same draft. And both of them, I think, were first-round picks, if I'm not mistaken. And then you look at bringing in, that 2000 defense and putting it together, one of the best defenses of all time. And that team won the Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer because the structure that they had and they built around. Brian Billick was the coach. And he was one of the best coordinators at that time, but he became a head coach. And the rest is history. Draft Ed Reed in 2002 and Terrell Suggs, and just go on and on. My classmate Jamal Lewis, just on and on, man. So it only takes one football mind to turn things around and look at things from a different perspective. That's all we saying. And
we're hoping that Matt Ryan, regardless in the role that he's in and whatever possible role he may get into in the future, we're hoping he's going to have success like these guys that we're talking about. That's what we're hoping for. So at the end of the day, we still have to wait and see what it says in due time.
Yeah. Shout out to my cuz, man. This blood right here, man. Atlanta good folks, man. Y'all please go check him out on YouTube. He said, how long will you give Matt if things don't go well in 3 years? We all know that tables can turn quickly, ugly with the fan base. And if you listen at the press conference, Arthur said at the beginning of one of his, answers, it's a pyramid type thing. And it starts at the top with the fans. So as Chris has said, I have said, and a numerous amount of super chats have said, it starts with the fans. And he knows that. He's been watching. So when you think about that in itself, they know what they're doing and why they're doing it and how the pyramid works. He put himself at the bottom of the pyramid. He's the support system. He signs the checks. And that's what he's supposed to do. Now I pray it get to a point to where he don't interfere anymore. Because let's be real. We know what that walking down to the field mean. We know what it means. Yep. So yeah. So I get it. But yeah, I mean, I think that's gonna I just think, to be honest, fans control a lot more than they think. Because if the fan don't show up to the stadium, ticket sales go down, money taken out of his pocket. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it simple.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's absolutely true, guys. But I think Matt Ryan gets it. Not just about to say, I think Matt Ryan gets at least 5 years. I mean, you gave Terry Fontenot 5.
Yep.
And just, I know Dimitroff got a lot of time, but Dimitroff had success. I'm just thinking about just all the front office type of guys that was through there. I mean, Greg Beadle's been with the team for 31 years, even though that's in a different capacity, but still, it's like Matt's going to at least get 5 years, right? At least that. It's Matt Ryan.
But let me put it like this though, Chris. He's going to be with the Falcons as long as he wants to be, until he gets to that GM role. He's not to that GM role yet. I think this step is the first step in getting to that GM part, but I think he'll be a delete at the least 10 years unless he says otherwise, because you got to give him 5 in the role that he's in, 3 to 5 in the role that he's in right now as president of football. And if the GM don't work out in 3 to 4 years or 5 years, like you said, he takes over that position. He's probably here another 5 years after that. So what? That's 15 years. So he's going to be here as long as he wants. Let's keep it real. Best player in Falcons history. He's going to have some leeway.
Yeah,
let's keep it real.
He's going to have some wiggle room. We're going to be looking up.
Harbaugh. Go ahead.
No, I was about to say we're going to be looking up, and then Matt Ryan be like, dang, but we don't have Matt Ryan around this organization for over 25 years.
30 years, because 15 will be what, 29? Yeah, that'll be 30 years. Time fly by just like that. But go ahead and read Harbaugh comment.
Oh, man, he was like, Ski, you don't understand the concept of this. We interviewed a negative record head coach that got fired first season, and we interviewed him. When there's literally Kevin Stefanski, Clint Kubiak, like, hello.
Like, and I agree with that point. I agree with that to a certain extent. You interview a coach coming off a losing season in his first season. I get it. Trust me, I get it.
Yeah, but you know that's what about Kubiak. Oh, my bad. No, I was about to say that's what they say about Kubiak though. They're saying, okay, he has no head coaching experience. Who's to say that he's going to come here and replicate what he's doing in Seattle or replicate anything? Like, who's to say we're going to be this? Who's going to do that? So it's like you really can find a gripe with like every coach, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It's going to be good and bad in every coaching interview you do. I mean, that's any job, because there's going to be one thing that one coach does another one doesn't do. For instance, you got position. What position they've coached before? This coach offense. This coach defense. This coach special team. This coach the quarterback coach, defensive line coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, so on and so forth. So I mean, it's going to be, no matter who you hire, that it's going to be differences. And what pissed me off the most about Raheem Morris, he's coached all over the damn field.
Oh,
He's
man.
been a defensive back coach. He's been a defensive coordinator, wide receiver coach. He was I think linebackers coach as well. So he's coached all over the damn field, and he still didn't show any kind of way to adjust to anything that was going on Sundays. That pissed me off the most.
I'm gonna tell you something else that's crazy. And Falcon, and just in NFL history, Falcons have multiple coaches that are in like the worst head coach, list. And it's so crazy because apparently they already had 2 in there, but now they have 3 because of Raheem Morris as well, man. Like, it's just
Who was the other 2?
the guys that you would know, like in the beginning stages of the football.
Okay, yeah. Lehman Bennett and Marion Campbell. So
Yeah, I think it was both of those guys in order. So, but yeah, you just again, and now he's a part of it in present day. So like all those guys, they were way back in yesteryears, and the Falcons were just kind of like starting up the franchise, trying to get some good players. You already know that was tough because all the good players were going into the franchises that have been there the longest, like the Packers, the Raiders, all that good stuff. So regardless, at least they kind of have somewhat of an excuse. But 2026, 2025, 2024, with all that talent and to be as bad as we were, those are the decisions that we got to make sure that we don't have again. And yes, Ben Johnson did not have any head coach experience, but guess what? He popped.
Sean McVay either. So those 2 very, very good options, man. So yeah, y'all be on y'all shit, man. I'm telling you, y'all do. But been another great pop-up show, man, and we really appreciate y'all coming through. We had talked to y'all about this press conference because it was some great things said and some positive things said. But one thing about it, man, you got to have trust in who they put in position to lead this organization up under Arthur Blank. And as far as head coaches, as far as GM, and as far as, anything, players. So we'll see how it turns out, man. But Chris, you know what to do, man. Tell everybody what to find.
Hey, man, let's see if I can take myself off mute here. StreamYard just moving so slow. Okay, there we go. I'm about to say if I can take myself off mute, StreamYard just be woo boy. But anyway, A1 Forever Sports, that's the platform on YouTube. Y'all come over, like, comment, and subscribe. Be a part of the A1 family. Love to have you. And also the Hawks Digest, man. There's so much news surrounding the Atlanta Hawks. This whole Anthony Davis thing just won't go away. But we just come over to Hawks Digest because we cover other things, as well. All Hawks news. And let's see where the Atlanta Hawks can go forward, being 20-22 now and trying to climb up in the Eastern Conference. But also Twitter, A1 Forever, Instagram, A1 Forever, and the real A1 Forever on TikTok. Thank y'all, everybody, for always coming through for the guys. We really appreciate y'all, each and every last one of y'all. And make sure y'all tune in for the next stuff. And we still got some stuff planned. It's just so much going on with the Atlanta Falcons. We still got shows that we got, just waiting on the shelf.
We got the ideas. We just wait for everything to fall in place.
That's it. And waiting for this thing to kind of die down. Once we have the head coach, once we have the GM, we can get that kind of talk out the way. And then we can start talking about some players, some decisions that have to be made and all that good stuff. So, yeah,
Facts.
We got some stuff on the shelf waiting. Just stick with us.
Christian, we would love that, but he's going to take a year off like the media has been saying, take a year off, see where he stands. Because the Steelers still owns his right. So if you get him, you'll have to trade for him. And don't get me wrong, I would probably love him here too. But with the way the draft has been set up for the Falcons this year, we can't even afford to trade a school lunch. But yeah, y'all know to catch me at FatBoySlim_21 on Twitter. Also catch me at Smitty Sports Machine on YouTube. As I'm trying to drop daily videos. I dropped a video earlier today. Please go check it out because I just think some things headed in the right direction, man. Because if y'all know me, y'all know that I keep it real, Chris keep it real. And when we drop videos, we put our thoughts into it and we do our research. But yeah, go check out our latest videos. And as we always tell y'all, please go hype those videos up because it really pushes us through the algorithm a little bit more than the likes and the comments now, because that's the way YouTube has set it up. So it happens, man. But
Tube always
the
touches
Pepsi Rookie of the Year has been announced. And guess what? No Falcons involved.
It ain't no Falcons.
I gave my thoughts on it, man. So y'all go check it out. It says NFL, he's still not a Falcon. So look.
Hey man, I'm just trying to tell you.
Go.
Nah, it ain't no lie, because how in the world, I'm just saying, bro, like at least two of those guys on there. I'm not saying that anybody, I don't like saying that a guy doesn't deserve something, but it's just like, how can you overlook a guy who sets the sack record? I mean, who has the most sacks since Michael Parsons when he came in? I feel like that's a big deal because people have Michael Parsons as a big deal. And then you also have a guy in Xavier Watts who ties Deion Sanders' record. Honestly could have broke it if only he had been able to, because he had like 2 or 3 interceptions this year that he dropped. So it's like, but still to have 5 and to not even be considered, and you have, running backs up there and stuff. Some of these guys didn't even get their jobs until like week 10. Some other guys, the offense just wasn't churning, with them. And then, then you have a couple of quarterbacks up there. Of course, I feel like that's like kind of a cop out and by default. And I'm just like, bro, where are the guys who getting after the quarterback or taking the ball away? I'm like, that's just absolutely crazy.
James Pierce had 10.5 sacks.
10.5, bro.
Abdul Carter didn't get 4 hit 5 sacks to the last half of the season.
I'm like, bro, make it make sense. That's all I'm saying. Just make it make sense. It does.
I think Chris gonna go on the rant with that, man. So I think he gonna make a short out of that.
Yeah,
so y'all gonna check that out if he drops it.
Man, I'm thinking about it, but I'm trying not to like rage bait it because it's infuriating though. Seriously.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And shout out to before we get out of here too, man. Shout out to Lynn Jones too, man. I don't care what nobody say.
Facts. But yeah, man, that's the show. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. True appreciate y'all always tuning in, man. Thanks for the super chats as always. But for my boy Chris, it's your boy Smitty. We're gonna holler at y'all soon, man. Peace.